Welcome back. Well, if you've never been to the Gibson, it's a popular speakeasy here in Washington, D.C., and now is the time to go.
They just introduced their Legends selection. It is an off-the-menu selection of elevated cocktails. And joining us, of course, to mix up something amazing, Julia Ebell. She's the creative director at the Gibson. Good morning, Julia.
Good morning. It's so lovely to see you so early.
Bright and early, right? And no better time to mix up some cocktails than at 8 in the morning.
Don't act like you haven't been in a bar early in the morning, Julia. Now,
I'm normally coming at it from the other end. I'm going to be entirely honest with you.
All right. So we're going to talk to you while you're making these. So tell us what you're making first off.
So I'm making a Martinez cocktail, which is a very old cocktail hailing from the 1880s, was when it was first published. It was originally just described as a gin Manhattan.
Wow.
Now, this is part of a renaissance that's going on right now with not only speakeasies, but of bringing back cocktails that were once the norm that did fall out of fashion for a long time, but they're back now. Why are they back, Julia?
Well, because as people have gotten more interested and the market has developed, more people are making the things that you can use to make a lot of these cocktails, you know? When I started craft bartending, you couldn't get maraschino, which I just put into this cocktail.
Really?
You know, there weren't as many vermouths on the market. You couldn't get an Old Tom gin, which is what I'm using in this, much less a barrel-aged Old Tom gin, which is what makes this an elevated cocktail. This is the Bar Hill Tomcat. Aged in American oak. Bar Hill's been making gin in Vermont since 2011.
All right, tell us about the Gibson. Now, a lot of people probably heard of speakeasies, don't know what they are. What technically is a speakeasy?
Well, you know, nowadays it's kind of an indicator that you're drawing back on those Prohibition and pre-prohibition. You are in charge.
Do I get to stir?
Yeah, you have to stir. Otherwise, things aren't going to get done.
It's not going to happen. Okay, her stirring technique versus my stirring technique.
You put it against the side of the glass and get all the way down to the bottom, and just with your fingers, just a little
like a tornado.
This is like a 3-year-old's job. Okay.
You got it. Oh, got it. See, you're getting better.
See, you've got the flick of the wrist with the there. I'm getting a little bit smoother with the fingers.
And you know,
can we talk about the elevated cocktail experience, by the way? So you can get all of these drinks at the speakeasy, but you're talking about actually if money is no object and like you are upgrading your cocktail experience.
Yeah.
Okay.
So with this Legends menu, what we're trying to do is focus in on spirits that are kind of at a price point and level of quality where their manufacturers normally just suggest, hey, you should drink this neat.
Right.
Or you should have it on a big ice cube. Not, hey, you should now make a cocktail with it and spill it all over this lovely studio.
Hey, you're making me look good, okay? Because I was spilling all over the place.
Well,
all right, so we got this one.
All right, so we want to, before we dig in here, we want to remind people where they can find the Gibson.
Gibson is right at the corner of 14th and U. It's an unmarked black door between Marvin
A little bit of a challenge.
A true speakeasy.
and a bike rack. So if you want to come visit us, that's where we are.
But we'll help you out as well, too. If you go on Twitter and Facebook, they are at the Gibson DC. And Julia, you got a great Instagram handle, at the Bar Witch.
That's amazing.
That's
Good job,
fantastic.
Julia.
Well, you know, okay.
All right, so we're about out of time, so we have to try.
She's going to plate it.
This ready?
That's ready for you.
Top it, I guess.
right.
What is this called? Garnish it?
Garnish it.
Garnish it.
And what you're doing is getting the
We'll be right back. We got more news for you coming up in our next half hour. Julia, thank you.
Very well.
Appreciate it. All right.
Very